Hello everybody, and Jester, and welcome back to Symphogear GX, episode 8. In the previous episode, we had a little bit of a beach episode, a beach training camp, or something along those lines, and nothing particularly much happened, honestly. It was essentially just a character growth episode for Maria. That's essentially what it was. We did get some other things, sure, but it was mostly about Maria. About Maria struggling with her weakness, with trying to overcome it, with trying to combat it, with trying to fight her weakness, only to come to a conclusion that instead she should embrace it. She shouldn't be ashamed of being weak. She should accept the fact that she is weak, but despite the weakness, she will fight. And that was a very cool character moment for Maria. That's for sure. Besides that, what else happened? One of the autoscorers stole an SD card. Beats me. I don't know what the deal about that SD card is, but she did steal it, so hey. The blue autoscorer got defeated by Maria, but in her defeat, she also became the first one to do something, to achieve something. I have no clue what the deal with that is. I only know that her ribbon in their little base lit up, and she was very happy about being destroyed, which is weird, to say the least. So we're setting up something interesting here. Something interesting about the autoscorers and their plans and whatnot, because I've absolutely no clue where we're gonna go from here. And because Carol is seemingly dead, but I don't think she is. I don't think like Carol is much more of a threat, much more of a villain than the autoscorers are. So getting rid of Carol completely and having the final boss be just the autoscorers would kind of like, you know, the usual curve of a series or a show or a movie or whatever, where the tension rises, then there's the final resolution, the final fight or whatever, and then tension drops because the issue has been resolved. If Carol was actually just defeated and she was not to return, it would be tension rising, dropping, and then rising just a little bit, never quite achieving the same highs, and then dropping again, which not the best curve for a show to take. So I'm assuming autoscorers are planning to revive Carol somehow. My prediction is that this somehow involves Elf9. Probably she's the replacement body, replacement shell for Carol. That's my assumption, because like you don't create clones or homunculi of yourself if you don't plan to use them as a backup plan. Like that's how you do it, right? You create your own clones or homunculi to have a backup body. That's how it always looks, and I don't think Symphogear would break out of that mold particularly much. So that's my assumption. And of course, one more thing. No, before that, the SD card. I still have no clue what it is about. Do they need information about Elf9? Why? Do they need information about their secret bases? It's not like they didn't find it before. Do they need research about the Ignite? Why? It's not like Elf9 applied some personal knowledge and personal magic or whatever to those relics. Carol has the exact same knowledge, perhaps even more. So I'm not sure if they stole that SD card to maybe create some Alkanoise Mark II or whatever that is able to stand up against the Ignite Symphogear. I don't think the Autoscorers can modify alkanoids. They can create with those crystal things, but can they modify those crystal things? I don't think so. Many questions. And of course, the biggest event, arguably, of the whole episode was at the end, where it turns out Hibiki's father is around. And yeah, that's a very unexpected family reunion that I'm assuming won't go all that well, although many things can happen. One more thing that certainly bears mention, the shrine being destroyed, apparently not the only one, apparently multiple shrines around. Or did I just add this detail myself? We know for sure that one shrine was destroyed by the blue autoscorer with icicles. Why? I don't know. Maybe there was something in that shrine they needed. No clue. Maybe it's on top of a ley line or something, and they need to tap into the power of that ley line. No idea. No idea. This season is probably the most mysterious so far. Honestly, like in previous seasons, there usually came a point where I was fairly confident in my predictions, right? That, oh, maybe Fine is Ryoko, right? And I was fairly confident in my prediction. Oh, maybe, I don't know, maybe Kirika and Shirabe are going to leave their organization and join us, Those sorts of predictions. When it comes to GX, no thoughts head empty. I'm genuinely unable to predict what's going to happen, because we're not getting particularly many details, are we? And yeah, we're gonna have to watch it. We're gonna have to watch it and see for ourselves. It's episode 8. Beyond that, there's gonna be like only 4 episodes towards the finale. So I'm assuming they're gonna set up some stuff in motion already, or maybe they're gonna wait for the next episode. I don't know. We'll see about that. And to see about that, you guys need your subs, and I need my sound. And I love their academy. I think it's the first time we're getting like an aerial shot at their new academy. I love it. I'm a huge fan of like old buildings and trees and nature and solar punk and those themes. I love architecture in Madoka Magica, for example. It's episode 1 is still up on Patreon, but on Monday it's gonna be out, so go check it out. And I love how all around you see like blocks of flats, like concrete cubes, and here you have this beautiful old building in the middle of a small forest with vines creeping on the walls, some useless staircases just added there for some flair. I love it. I would love to learn at this school, and I would love to teach at this school, honestly, because I fucking adore it. Fairly small though, you gotta admit that. Okay, yeah, with that out of the way, I should also remind you of support. You can support the channel on Patreon and get early access to Symphogear, or you can not spend money and just share my content. That also helps a lot, because it helps grow the channel if more people know about it. Someone's calling me, well, tough luck, because I'm recording now. Okay, I think we can start watching this episode 8 of Symphogear GX, in 3, 2, 1, go. Is Hibiki a little bit out of it? Meddling how? Wait, is it episode 8? It is episode 8. Was the last episode I uploaded 7? It was 7. We're talking about things that haven't been shown. hexagons. Dine's life. Believing in that wasn't believing. That was believe. I didn't read that fully. Either I've suddenly become dyslexic, or the subtitle is even weirder than I thought. The determination to fist still cracks me up. One thing I like about this opening is they aren't showing the Ignite Symphogear. Right? Like, anime is kinda infamous for having complete and utter disregard for spoilers in openings. Symphogear isn't like that. Like, it kinda sorta spoiled the fact that Maria has a new Symphogear, but not the, like, existence of Ignites. Okay, I guess they meet up. It genuinely was falling down. Funny you mentioned that. Okay, he's immediately coming off as a sleazebag. The kind of a father that shows up out of nowhere when you're 30 and successful, asking you to buy him a house or something. What's that? Ah. Of course. Motherfucker can't even afford sandwiches. Okay, who's watching her? The red one is out. I guess her throat can read fucking SD cards. Right, the photosphere. That's another important thing. Ley lines. Yep. Yep. I'm guessing the red one is gonna attack someone. Indeed. That's not a given. You need a determination to fist. Okay, the cans look very, very square. We're under attack, of course. Mm-hmm. Isn't that just the one of the bunker entrances? Yeah, you're very clearly not fine, though. It's not nothing. Yeah, of course. Of course, she lashes out. I mean, you can always punch your father. It's a possibility. Okay, at least she didn't lose her ability to sing. Like, I was afraid that all sorts of, like, mental struggles and mental issues that Hibiki might have are going to be reflected in her inability to henshin. But no, no, not this time around. I wonder what's gonna be the relevancy of Hibiki's father appearing, though. Because Symphogear isn't known for adding stuff just for the sake of adding stuff. Yeah, just going straight for the kill. Yeah. I mean, if it gives her some additional powers, some additional, emotions to unload on the autoscorer, that's all for the better. Is she going to just collapse the tunnel? Or is she going to start doubting herself and unhenshin? Or she's just gonna become distracted and be hit. That's also a possibility. Okay. Who ex machina? I don't. Yeah, that fire might be a little too much for her. Run away? Hmm? Okay. No, I don't think that's it. A little bit of a weird moment here. A lot of like flashbacks and stuff happening at the same time. Am I burdening you? That's some weird questions being asked, not gonna lie. A lot of seemingly big importance happened in a very short span of time. Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, after what? They were after what, Ogawa? Explain. And they're having a lover's spat, of course. Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. Make up, make out, everything's gonna be fine. Indeed. Yeah, talk about it. Okay, thank you, Hibiki. Thank you for talking about your issues. Don't keep it, don't bottle it up. Hashtag Miku did nothing wrong. I mean, genuinely, it's not Miku's fault. New linker, new linker. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's the bigger issue here, honestly. Not much. Like, unless Hibiki wants some help, she's not going to accept help. It's really as simple as that. And what will that give them? That's the chamber where new Carol is being rebuilt. That's my assumption. Memory installation, okay. Installing memories inside of Carol's new body? That's my assumption. Again, I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but we don't really have much to, like, go off of. Yeah, no time for arguments. Mika is attacking. Maika, Misha, whatever. Destroyed Tori Gate. Bit of a callback to the first episode where, whatchamacallit, Carol was standing on top of one. Shulshagna true. A lot of henshins in this episode. And she's going straight for the yo-yo. No, it's multiple attacks at the same time. Yep. Oh. Oh, she's big. It's the yellow autoscorer. But big. Interesting. Haven't we seen some, like, huge figure in the sea near the beginning of this season? Yeah, I think we did. Of course, they're both gonna become reckless. Yeah, that's hardly enough. Yep. Probably not a good idea. Why do you always have to jump in without thinking? That's a revelation, I guess? Yep, indeed. You need the ignite. Of course, it all boils down to the ignite. Will they be able to break the curse of Dainslive, though? Hold hands. That's gonna be the key to that. Unprotected hand holding. I guess she's also getting fired up. They had the easiest time handling Ignite module. No issue, first try. I love it. Oh, lose her Misha. Okay, even in their Ignite forms, they aren't that great fighters. Compared to Misha, at least. That's a new form of her launcher. Oh, that was a cool camera slide. That's a big crystal. Oh! A little bit of a swing. And a combo attack. Is that it? It is it. Indeed. Okay. And she's very happy about that. I'm guessing the red ribbon in their little base is going to light up now, because somehow that gets triggered by the death of an autoscorer. Yeah. Yeah, that took everybody aback. They've grown. And now it's time for Chris to have her doubts. Everybody in order is having doubts and then solving them, having doubts, solving them. That seems to be a little bit of a theme of this season. Okay, she had to Google what the fuck responsibility is. Now kiss. Yeah, as I said, the red ribbon lights up. And the wheel turns. Carol? Hello, Carol. Welcome back amongst the living. Mika. We still don't know why, but okay, go off. Oh! She can see through Elf9's eyes. I did not consider that possibility. I did not consider that possibility. Could it be that Elf9 was purposefully planted there? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's just Carol making the most out of the situation where Elf9 is in their base. Interesting. It's also interesting that the significant thing there was that Kirika and Shirabe have become much stronger, because it kinda plays into the whole thing where it seems like Carol was trying to grow our main characters so that they become stronger, so that she can later somehow harness their strengths. That's very much the vibe I'm getting, right? Like, how many times have they faced against the Autoscorers, and the Autoscorer was like, no, thanks, your song is weak, I'm just gonna go now, grow a little, get stronger, we're gonna fight again. The plans for the Apocalypse of All Creation has something to do with Symphogear songs, with the Aufwachen waveforms. Is Carol somehow planning to harness the power of Symphogear to facilitate the apocalypse? If so, how? But I'm gonna note it down, because it's worth noting down. Okay, second page of notes about Symphogear GX. There we go. Carol needs strong gears and songs for her apocalypse. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the case. I think that's the case, because why else would the Autoscorers like withdraw if the enemies are weak? Why not just finish them? Right? They're your enemy, so finish them and proceed with your apocalypse. Well, the only explanation is that they're needed for the apocalypse. Interesting. And how about now we go through this episode again, shall we? I really do like this school. As I mentioned at the very beginning, I love it. I want to learn her. I want to learn there. I want to teach there. I want to live there. Honestly, if one of those buildings is the dorms, I want to live in those fucking dorms. Hibiki meeting her father, and her father is, of course, a complete and utter deadbeat. Oh, I saw you become a hero or something. I think we should reconnect now, right? Oh, you're important now. Well, I always wanted to be back in your life. Oh, you now have your own company and are successful in life and have so much money. Well, I always wanted to find you and to reconnect with you. How about you buy daddy a new car? He's very much the kind of character, right? Like not like I have experience with those kinds of characters, but I read some like best of Redditor updates on Reddit, and that's a very common archetype of a person, yeah, of an absent parent that suddenly sees their kid being successful or get inheritance or something like that, and suddenly they appear in their lives. Wow. For no reason at all, except just reconnecting with their family. Of course, that's the reason at its core. And now I'm being selfish. Yeah, I just couldn't take living like that any longer, and what can Hibiki and her mother and her grandmother say? You left us when we needed you the most. Hibiki is, of course, correct here. I hoped it would been long enough that things to work out. Yeah, there are certain wounds that time doesn't heal. Or rather, sure, it heals them, but the scars and the scabs remain. And when you scratch at it, they reopen. That's just how it is. You remember Hibiki? Who had these magic words to help us through tough times. Taught them to you when you were little. What magic words? Also, notice how he's having like a Coke or something and sandwiches, and Hibiki just has water and juice, and she's paying for it all. What a scumbag. And then he just goes back to eating as if it was nothing. Yeah, not the best light to put Hibiki's father into, is it? I wonder about those magic words, though. That seems something that isn't just a throwaway thought, but something that actually has some modicum of significance. What kind? I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. Maybe Hibiki is going to remember those words and use them in her hour of need. Actually, I'm fairly sure of that, so I'm gonna note it down. Hibiki uses family's magic words in her hour of need. That's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting how Hibiki manages to like spin it around and kind of take the weight off those words so that they don't remind her of her father, but are rather her own strength. I have a feeling that's what might happen. It's gonna be interesting. Certainly gonna be interesting. And there's that texture on the floor was made at a lower resolution than was needed, because you can see the jagged edges on the lines. Someone should have used an SVG instead of a JPEG or a PNG for that. And her mouth is an SD card reader. I guess if you're using alchemy to craft some servitor dolls, might as well give them an SD card reader. Do they have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth as well? And she can display it with her voice, because of course she can. Here you got that from Tsukuba in a rather subdued way. I could have taken the place apart by force, but I'd rather not risk them destroying the data for security reasons. They need the data. For what reason, though, and what kind of data? Data about ley lines? Yeah, we know what ley lines are. Anastasia used them to focus phonic gain upon the frontier. Scalpels we require to dissect the world are gathering one by one here in the Chateau de Tifouge. Can I translate it, please? Chateau is like a castle, I think. The Tifouges. Okay, that's an actual castle. Medieval castle in France. In French commune of Tifouge, in the Vendée département. The castle is known as the Chateau de Barre-Bleu, Bluebeard's castle, after its most famous resident, Gilles de Rais, known as Barbe-Bleu. I'm probably butchering my French, do forgive me. It was here that Bluebeard perpetrated his atrocities. What's the significance of a Bluebeard here? Castle is in the marches between Brittany, Poitou, and Anjou. Important strategic point. Castle was abandoned. The inner yard even used for a while as a football pitch by the local club. Okay. It hosts a series of spectacles and collections, including medieval war machines and an alchemy center. Okay. Okay, well, we now know the significance of Chateau de Tifouge. It is an alchemy center. As simple as that. Okay. Yeah, gotcha. It's not the Bluebeard that's important, it's the alchemy center. Interesting, interesting. Still have no clue what's the deal with like those dolls sacrificing themselves. Are they, I don't know, collecting memories and using them to revive Carol? I don't know, doesn't seem that way. It seems like the sheer fact that an autoscorer is killed by a Symphogear user at their best, in their prime, is enough to trigger the ribbon. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird mechanic, and I can't wait until we find out what it actually is. I hope we find out what it actually is. I hope they just, like, straight out tell us, oh, so they were using the phonic gain we used during our Ignite transformations to gather power to revive Carol? I hope they do that. Because, yeah, it seems like that's the case. Again, it kind of plays into my initial assumption that maybe, perhaps, Elf9 was sent there purposefully to facilitate all that stuff, like, right, the invention of the Ignite modules and observing them and all that stuff. That will make sense, because maybe the power of an Ignite module is what's required to like create enough phonic gain to start the apocalypse or something like that, right? That's why Elf9 was allowed to steal Dine's life. That's why she was allowed to run away. That's why she was allowed to join the disaster squad. I guess, maybe, although at the very beginning, if it was all just a play pretend that they're after Elf9, it was a very fucking good play pretend, because they didn't look like they were playing. Or again, it might be just Carol making the best out of the situation. I don't know, very hard to tell. My choice led to bitter coffee. underground tunnels that carry power lines and other utilities. That seems like a point of failure. Like, sure, on one hand, having like tunnels underneath the city where all the power lines and pipes and everything runs is cool, because you can always go there and fix what needs to be fixed. Instead of, like, I don't know how it is in other cities, but in my city, in Wrocław, all the cables and pipes are just buried, which is cool because, like, nobody can fuck around with it. Nobody can just go into the sewers and steal some copper wire to sell it and have the city loses power because of that, right? No situation like that can happen. But on the other hand, when a pipe bursts or something like that happens, half the city is paralyzed because they have to dig up some important crossing and fix the pipes. So it's a double-edged sword, I guess. But then again, it would make sense in this particular scenario that they would run that stuff underground, because they also have underground bunkers and they have to hide from noise. So those tunnels make for like a makeshift hiding place from the noise. So in the context of the world, makes perfect sense to have tunnels. And yeah, Hibiki ain't fucking around. She just immediately goes after Mika. Crying, sure, but her cries and her emotions are giving her just a little bit of power. Reckless power, sure. She's attacking absolutely with reckless abandon, not caring about anything, not caring about like the destruction she causes, which is mentioned later as well, which is very cool detail. She just attacks. Maybe I was just as responsible. And this immediately made me think that the whole deal with Hibiki's father is going to make Hibiki lose her voice again or something. I wouldn't like that very much. I'm gonna be honest with you. Once was enough. If I don't want Hibiki to turn into the sort of fragile, I guess, character who can fight only when they're in the correct headspace, right? Oh no, my friend said I look ugly, I can't fight, I forgot how to sing, oh no, right? Oh, my favorite curry was already out at the cafeteria. My throat, I can't sing, right? I wouldn't want Hibiki to turn into that, so that was my fear, that the issues with her father are going to stifle her again. Thankfully, very thankfully, not the case whatsoever. Oh, come on. What you doing? There we go. Maybe I'm just as responsible. And again, I wouldn't want her to shoulder the responsibility either. You're gonna die. Here comes Shirabe and Ex Machina, protecting Kirika and giving her also a nice view while she's at it. How could anyone consider that okay? If I use the Ignite module, I can end it. It seems to me like their issue is essentially, I want to protect you. No, I want to protect you. No, I want to protect you. No, I want to protect you. And that's their issue. That's their spat here, which is, don't get me wrong, kind of cute, not gonna lie, but at the same time kind of like nonsensical. Like, again, I know that emotions don't follow logic, sure, but just, you know, it is nonsensical. It doesn't follow logic. Talking it out would be perfectly enough, and they do talk it out later, and they are perfectly fine, which proves my point. And yeah, you guys are weak. I'm just gonna fuck away. I'm just gonna run away. And pretty much all of it was caused by the girls, all of the destruction. I think that's like the first time we properly acknowledge the fact that our girls fighting causes property damage and the destruction, which is cool. I really do like it. I really do appreciate the fact that they're giving it just a little bit of attention, right? I'm not asking for much. I'm asking for just a little bit of attention put at it. I don't want it to be like a focus of a whole episode or anything. But it's interesting, and I wonder if it's gonna play into like Hibiki's belief that her powers can only destroy while she wants to protect. I hope we're not gonna go back to that, but the mentions of destruction, the fact that Hibiki just went fighting with absolute reckless abandon would kind of play into that, right? Like Hibiki eventually just destroys some pillars of a building and the building collapses and there are casualties. Something like that, right? Don't tell me that's what the Autoscorers were after. After the map of all the tunnels underneath the city? Why? Why? Why is the city so important? That's another question I had, right? Because they want to use ley lines to, like, bisect the world, essentially. The thing is, ley lines are around the world, and we're focusing on just this single Japanese city. Like, some of the Autoscorers, sure, were abroad, where Tsubasa and Maria were doing some, like, overseas concert. Chateau de whatever, their base is in France. So I'm guessing they can just do as they please around the world because there isn't really any resistance. The other countries don't have the means to detect their actions, they don't have the means to oppose their actions, so they can do just whatever. We're just focusing on the city because, first of all, this is where the action takes place, and second of all, because people here can actually oppose Carol and oppose the Autoscorers and fight them and detect them and whatnot. Yeah, I guess that would make sense, that this is the, like, one last missing piece or something, right? The last village in Gallia that still resists the Roman rule. You need rest. You dashed out without thinking about the consequences. You think I'm just a burden. That's just a classic lover's spat. And Hibiki with the hand holding. And she shoulders the blame herself, because of course she does. And I wanted to see him again. And then Miku takes the blame. It's because I told you to see your dad. And they talk it out, they make up, they make out, and Kirika and Shirabe should take their example, honestly. A brand new linker K. I don't know what the K stands for, but apparently it is linker K, type K or whatever. I've never had a normal family in my life. We have learned about it, about her father not being like the best father in the world, kind of deal. After the drop in supply caused by the destruction, yeah, they're sending power, and Autoscorers and Carol can map out where the power goes, and they'll be able to determine routes that aren't obvious from above ground. Why exactly do they need access to the below ground tunnels, though? They never cared particularly much about being covert, right? I would have understood it. I would have understood it if their plan was to, I don't know, place some alchemical thumpers at key points on the ley lines in the tunnels below the city to complete the net and destroy the world. But they have enough power to just place those thumpers above ground and protect them. So I don't know what the deal is. Why do they need those tunnels exactly? But apparently they do. So, hey, who am I to judge? And Maika hasn't had enough. She has free time. I like it. I like that they have, like, free time. It's not all business. They can just chill. That's cool. Walking, talking, but not really speaking out and discussing things. Another henshin. And another attack by a big Autoscorer. That's interesting. Why is she big? Why is she big? Why can the yellow one have like a kaiju clone of herself? I don't know, but she can apparently. And I want to become stronger. If I become stronger, of course, it's all about strength. And we're finally talking it out. Finally. Thank you. Talk about things. It solves problems, really. Talking really does solve problems. I love you so much that I can't stand to see you get hurt. That's my issue. I thought about that ever since you protected me. That's my issue. All the people who are angry with us feel that way because they care about us. Yeah, people care about us, and I care about you. And that's the thing here. And okay, everything's being cleared out. I love you, you love me, we care about each other, let's fucking do it. And they do it. Just like that. Also, Maika is very happy about it. The unimaginable power that grows without limit. Which again tells me that I'm gonna add to one of my theories in parentheses, ignite. Makes me think that the Ignite modules, Ignite Symphogear, are the key to the destruction of the world. Possibly, probably. And they really are having just a super easy time breaking the Dying Life's curse. Just like that. Maika gets second henshin. I'm sorry, Kiri. Don't worry about me. Let's talk about it. It's cool. We have the power. We can fight. One and done. No drama, no second tries, no succumbing to the darkness. They're together. They went through it together. Easy as that. I love it. Maika is the strongest. Of course she is. She completely dropped or burned her clothes. Yeah, she just burned her clothes. I thought it's like a different clothes that she's having. But no, when she set herself ablaze, she just burned out all of her clothes and all of the ribbons that hold her hair together. Yeah. And this is her, like, bare, naked form. Okay, I see that now. Feel the wrath from my immature heart. My pent-up voltage. It's the same song she sings in her regular form. New shape of the launcher. It's more of a ponytail now. I love these like spikes dropping from the sky, and this super cool camera slide. It's done on once, so it really adds to the smoothness of it. And it's not just a zoom. It's not just a tilt. It's not just a pan, right? It's all three together. I really like it. Okay, let's take it back and let's play it at full speed. Right? Super smooth, super quick, super fast. I like it. I really do. And the red hot spikes falling from the sky. That's another one. I don't know if my weakness or whatever, but I really like weapons that hurl like red hot tungsten spikes or something like that. Not just a regular bullet. Regular bullet will leave a hole and that's it. A red hot tungsten spike is gonna fucking nail you to the wall. I really like Boltor in Warframe, Akbolto. Akbolto is probably still my most used weapon. It's a couple of like flintlock looking pistols that shoot bolts, like steel rods that impale people to the walls. Love them. And I love seeing their combo attack. It's not just her guillotine. There's also now a wheel. The enemy gets like not only bisected this way, but also bisected this way into quarters. I guess you can say she's getting quartered. That's not what getting quartered is, but sure. And she's awful happy about that. Because... And very nice impact frame. Kirika and Shirabe. Again, another character, group of characters, two characters, both characters that got some serious character growth in this season. Yeah, just remorseful, not complaining, not disagreeing. Just, yeah, you're right. We're reckless. We're sorry. And Genjuurou just doesn't know what to say. He was prepared to give them a sermon, but what? No sermon is needed? They understand what they did wrong? What the fuck's going on? And the next in line to have some character growth will probably be Chris. Because now she's saying, Oh, they're walking ahead without us having to drag them by the hand. They're not like me at all. They're better than me. I need to work on myself. And she's probably gonna work on herself. I love the fact that she had to fucking Google what responsibility is. A little tender moment by the river. I love it. And yeah, the red ribbon lights up. It was predictable. The gears turn, and here comes Carol, not unexpected whatsoever. I thought that Elf9 is like her replacement body, but perhaps not. Perhaps Elf9 is genuinely just being used, right now at least, being used as a spy. For centuries, I've dreamt of slaughtering every last miracle with my own hands. We still have no motivation for that, so... Did you hear? Shirabe and Kirika have gotten so strong. Way more than before. Don't you think so, Elf9? Oh, I certainly do. Again, all of that leads me to believe that Symphogear users being strong is what Carol needs for her apocalypse. Why? How? I don't know, but that's what she needs. The end of the world will arrive faster than ever before. I'm assuming because the Symphogear users are growing faster than predicted. Cool. Cool. That's the episode. That is indeed the episode. Yeah, that was episode 8 of Symphogear GX. And it was cool. It was cool, not gonna lie. A lot of things happened. It wasn't a particularly focused episode because we got a little bit of Hibiki, we got a little bit of Shirabe and Kirika, mostly Shirabe and Kirika. We got a little bit of Autoscorers, some fighting, some interpersonal drama, some of this, some of that, kind of a mishmash of various things. But it's played out well in the end. One thing I noticed is that it's one of the episodes that introduces drama seemingly out of nowhere at the beginning, right? Like the drama between Shirabe and Kirika, and then immediately resolves it in the later half. I'm not sure how much of a fan I am of this. On one hand, I appreciate it because there's nothing I hate more in anime. It's especially bad in rom-coms, where two characters are having some issue in episode 3. Episodes 4 to 10 are all drama about their misunderstanding. Episode 11 is, oh, she was my sister. I wasn't cheating on you, and series ends. Right? There's nothing I hate more in anime, in any media really, than needlessly prolonged drama for no other reason than prolonging the drama. So on one hand, I appreciate being brief. On the other, it makes the drama not really sink in, right? Because the things that happen in an episode have the time to sink in only after the episode ends. Right? The episode ends, we go through it, we think about it, then throughout the week, maybe I think about it a little at the beginning of the next episode, right? It takes time to process. When things happen in the span of a single episode, I'm not gonna think about Shirabe and Kirika's little spat because it was there and it was resolved and there's nothing more to think about here. Right? Season 1 did it well with the whole issue with Miku and Hibiki. Couple of times, really. Like, imagine if any time that Miku and Hibiki had a falling out, it was just resolved immediately in the same episode. Would lose a lot of weight, wouldn't it? Right? Imagine if Hibiki couldn't go to, like, grab some, what was it, like okonomiyaki or whatever it was in this episode. She couldn't go there, and then you have the whole thing with Chris and Miku, and then Noise attacks, and Miku immediately forgives Hibiki, and they go about their day. Well, they go about their fight. Hibiki saves Miku. End of the episode, right? Wouldn't feel well if the conflict and the resolution of it was in the same episode. Like forgetting any no like pacing issues and all that stuff that happened in between those 2 points. But yeah, so on one hand, I appreciate the brevity of it. On the other, I probably would have preferred if things like that had just a little bit more time to sink in. Besides that, I like that the whole situation with Hibiki's father didn't make her like lose herself, didn't make her lose power, didn't make her suddenly start doubting herself and whatnot. I really do like it because it shows that Hibiki is much stronger now. Especially the scene with later in the infirmary, it really shows how much Hibiki has grown. And again, I would have hated it if Hibiki became one of the characters whose powers are entirely based on their headspace. It's not great. It's not a great archetype, in my opinion, at least. Maybe you like it. I don't personally. I love the fact that Kirika and Shirabe had such an easy time going for the Ignite transformation, just no issue at all. If there was anything who would do that, I'll be honest, that would be them, because they have each other to be like a pillar to each other, right? They're not going through the whole Dying's Life curse alone. They are together, and both their relics come from like the same. Both their Symphogear come from like the same deity, I think, something like that. So that connects them even further. Anything else that's worth mentioning? This season proves to be the most mysterious so far. We really don't have all that much to work with. A lot of secrets, a lot of mysteries, a lot of things that seemingly make no sense. Like, why do they need a map of the power grid of the city to destroy the world? Things like that aren't obvious. I'm assuming that they will explain all that stuff, like, no doubt in my mind, but still, as it is right now, it's very mysterious, very, we have very few hints and very few things to, like, help us figure things out. The fact that Ignite modules might be needed for the destruction of the world, that's the only thing that we get any sort of hints towards. Besides that, not much. I wonder what's gonna happen to Elf9. That's probably one of my biggest worries. I'm assuming after Carol and the Autoscorers are defeated, Elf9 is freed, quote unquote, and joins our team and becomes the new Ryoko essentially to our team, works on the Symphogear, works on Linker, stuff like that. I would love for that to happen, but I'm already mentally preparing myself for something like, I don't know, if you destroy Carol, then all of her homunculi also just disappear, vanish, get Thanos snapped. It wouldn't be off-brand for Symphogear, for sure. It's something that I can easily see happening. Anything else? Some cool character moments, some cool added lore, some cool added, maybe not conflict, but important thing about Elf9 being an unwilling spy. The thing about the Kaiju Autoscorer that we kind of completely glossed over. It hasn't been brought up later. It hasn't even done anything from what we've seen. It just stood there menacingly, and that's it. It's this season of Symphogear is the season that really wants me to watch more, really makes me impatient for future episodes without the use of cliffhangers. There haven't been that many cliffhangers in this season, and yet all the mystery and all the new things that get revealed really, really like drag me forward. Like, watch the next one, watch the next one. I'm resisting so far, but the thoughts are here. I think that's gonna be it. I don't think I have anything more to say about this episode, but maybe you guys do, and if so, tell me about it all in the comments. What did you think of this episode, of my reaction, of my theories? No spoilers, please, I beg of you. If you want to talk spoilers, Discord is here, link also in the description. Join it, it's free, open to everybody, and talk spoilers here freely in the Symphogear channel by using the spoiler tags. Like this video if you liked it, disliked it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Symphogear GX, but also Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica Yofka Shinouta Call of the Night, Overlord Season 4, Hataraku Mao-sama Season 2, Ruby Ice Queendom, and I'm also doing a playthrough of Disco Elysium if that's more your thing. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, link in the description. For $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonals like Symphogear, like Madoka Magica, like Disco Elysium. I'm also releasing episodes of that early on Patreon, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord and you get a place in the credits. There's also Throne, where you can give me some money towards the purchase of some one specific thing, like a camera or a new ring light or a cam link or something like that. And you can also add your own ideas for gifts, like, I don't know, you want to buy me a pack of, I don't know, throat lozenges or something. You can add it and you can handle it that way. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, it's completely free. Share my content, please. Spread the word, because the word of mouth really does matter a lot for the growth of a channel, and I'm forever grateful to anybody who spreads the good word of my content. And with all that, I think that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the credits I mentioned. You can be one of those people if only you so desire.